asked would someone make it his business to bust through government paperwork on your behalf. Well, as we'll see today, it seems there's money to be found and money to be made among the tangle of red tape.
People don't realise that there's thousands of government programs out there, billions of dollars in funding that can be accessed.
Also on the show, being held around
tape. It's the bane of every small business, yet it's become the backbone of this man's own venture.
Everything that we do is governed by some sort of requirements by government or councils, and we help people work through those issues and we get them the outcomes, hopefully, that they're after.
And after working in the public service for 17 years, Shane Bowring knows only too well how difficult dealing with government bureaucracy can be.
Very daunting for people who haven't got a government background, and even sometimes it's daunting for us because, councils or government departments, being public servants, sometimes like to say no for the sake of saying no.
Footy mate Chris Jones gave Shane the idea for Red Tape Busters after calling him for help. Chris wanted to expand his concrete business throughout Queensland. Trouble was, he was only allowed to work in the Brisbane metropolitan area because the Transport Department said his truck was too heavy.
There was a lot of legislation there that we couldn't sort of work our way through.
But Shane could and did. His one-man crusade led to the changing of state laws to allow trucks like Chris's on roads across the state and set Shane on his own journey into the world of small business.
This is my first business. I've never owned a business before. Have no idea initially of how to set up a business and how to work it.
So Shane has stuck to what he knows best.
I don't have a lawyer's background or a legal background, but it's about being able to read the words of the legislation or the bylaws, interpreting what that means in layman's terms, and then applying that to what my client's situation is.
The shelves in his home office are full of football trophies hailing Shane as the best and fairest, but off the field he's a fighter.
Within the legal framework, we'll do everything we can to realise success for the client.
And when it comes to tackling bureaucracy, Shane's not afraid to challenge laws, like he's doing for a privately owned Melbourne-based ambulance service that wants to get the business into Queensland.
I think that Red Tape Busters are going to provide us with a way into government.
It's not going to be a short-term win here, because even if private ambulance services are set up in Queensland, there'll be tenders and, people have to put in those sort of things.
But John's prepared for the long haul. He says without Red Tape Busters, the campaign would be even tougher.
I'd spend a huge amount of money travelling backwards and forwards for a start would cost heaps. And I think that what they can save me in time, if I did it on my own, it would take me probably a couple of years. And we're going to cut this down to half.
Shane also helps small businesses get access to free money, otherwise known as government funding.
People don't realise that there's thousands of government programs out there, billions of dollars in funding that can be accessed.
And the money can be found in the most unlikely places. Shane got $220,000 from the Dairy Regional Assistance Program to help meat wholesaler Bevan Schultz expand his business.
He knew the words that I suppose the government wanted to hear, which, I'm in the meat industry, and I couldn't string two words together to put into a submission, which Shane did really well.
And even though Bevan had to fork out more than $10,000 to Red Tape Busters in fees for the privilege, he has no regrets.
We're still in front. If we didn't go down that road, well, we wouldn't have got anything. So every dollar we got was a bonus.
We work on an hourly rate for whatever hours we do for our client, and that's what we bill them, a bit like a solicitor or a law firm, but a lot cheaper.
Shane's rates start at $66 an hour. He also takes a cut of any successful funding he gets for his clients. Most of his clients have come through word of mouth, but Shane's also done some simple things that just about any business can take up.
No, don't advertise. No advertising at all. We approach the local paper and got a little story in there. Approach your media, your television stations. There's lots of different avenues there for promotion, and it's free publicity as long as you've got the idea that makes you a little bit different to somebody else. And any business can come up with a different idea.
One of Shane's best marketing ideas was the simple wheel cover on the back of his car.
It's highly visible. People sitting behind you see it, And I've even had people ring up while I'm driving saying, hey, I'm sitting behind you, can you help us?
And all that's helped his business grow rapidly.
Last year we turned over only 67,000 in our first year. We had only 2 people working with the company. This year we'll turn over probably 180,000.
Red Tape Busters has grown so much that Shane now uses half a dozen specialist consultants to help ease the workload. And while the business started here in Queensland, it now knows no boundaries.
We've got clients in every state of Australia. With the advent of the internet and email and fax and whatever, it's not a problem now. We can access any information that we need. We did a small job for a client in America over the internet. We've been contacted from the United Kingdom about setting up over there.
Public service jargon pretty much the same world over?
Red tape is red tape, whether it's Australia or anywhere else.